it means. You have all kinds of patterns that are stored right here in the interior part of your brain. Some of those patterns are awesome, some of them suck, okay? Some of them are dangerous. These are patterns that get stuck on autopilot. And when you start counting backwards, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, you interrupt those patterns and you draw your focus to your prefrontal cortex. Your prefrontal cortex is the part of your brain, we call it the executive center, that you're using when you're selling, when you're acting with courage, when you're learning anything new, and when you are doing any kind of strategic thinking. It's the part of the brain that gives you immediate control over what you're thinking and doing. So it allows you to change. So he walks away from the railing and then he sees somebody in a uniform. That's what happened. Now he knows he needs to ask for help, but then that 5-second window opens up, because it always opens up, that moment of hesitation, and he starts thinking, am I going to ask? What do I say? What if the person's 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now he's got the courage to tell the officer what's going on, and they have an ambulance waiting for him so that they can get the help that he needs when they get to shore. Now, if you wanted the license plate, it's already gone in Arizona. And I have a couple disclaimers before we get into how you use this, and why it works, and how you're going to use it to grow your business, and how you're going to use it to have a bigger impact, and how you're going to use it to deal with the anxiety and the self-doubt that you have. But before we get to that, this is a self-coaching tool. This is not a tool for signing a contract. This is not a tool for getting married. This is not a tool for placing a gambling bet. And since we're in Vegas, I also better say, this is not something you should use to get a tattoo. If you are thinking about putting this on your body, before you slap something like that on your wrist, maybe you want to try a bracelet before you put something hideous on your thigh. And I was in Vegas 3 weeks ago and told a big crowd not to get a tattoo, and it took, 3 hours for somebody to slap that on social media saying, went in Vegas, thanks Mel, 5-second rule. But of the thousands of tattoos that we've received, this one's my favorite. This is my favorite because this is our life. This is what your life looks like. Your life is an infinite loop of things that are happening to and around you. Things are constantly changing. The world is changing. Things in your family will change. And guess what? Some of it's going to be fantastic and amazing and mind-blowing. And some of it is going to be heartbreaking and devastating and even terrifying. And none of us can change that. And too many of us spend our time and our energy trying to control the things you can't control. What I want to prove to you is that you don't have to worry about what's going on around you. You have one job, and that's to manage that 5-second window that determines what you think and do next. Because when you understand that you can't control what other people might say, you can't control what might happen in the future, but you can always choose what you think and do next, it is the most liberating thing in the world, because you will realize that there's absolutely nothing that could happen to you that will take you off your values or that will take you off the track in terms of what your dreams are. Just ask Kyle.
Not only has 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 helped me overcome an addiction to the snooze button, but it's also helped me to stay sober and away from substances, even in finding out that my grandma's cancer was back this weekend, where normally that would send me into a spiral to make some choices that were not in my best interest. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, I'm able to stay strong for my family, keep my career going, and continue the good progress I've made after 3.5 years of sober.
Awesome, and so will you, and so will you. And so I have a question for you. How are you going to rise up? When you think about where you are right now and where you want to be when you come to the convention in 2020, how are you going to rise up so that you get there? What is it that you need to take on? What are the excuses that are holding you back? I want you to get selfish. I want you to get what you came for. I want you to think about what is holding you back. Is it the trash talk? Is it the self-doubt? Is it you telling yourself you don't deserve it, or you're not worthy, or you're not smart enough? Is it that you're afraid of rejection? What do you need to rise through so that you can show up up every day and arrive here a year from now and be in the place that you want to be? Now, I want you to hold on to that answer, because that's an easy question to answer. What we're going to do next is we're going to focus on how you can use the 5-second rule and the power of a 5-second decision to answer the much harder question, which is when that moment arises and it's time to speak up, it's time to show up, it's time to do the work, it's time to push the guilt aside. Will you? We're going to teach you how to answer that question next.